What's going on, everyone? Another on the road edition of Scale News Update, but the show must go on. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody who's watching. I'm gonna do my best to try and make this a no edit episode. We'll see how that goes. But let's jump into this week's topics. If you enjoy Scale News Update, hit the like button now, whole thing. Anyway, first of all, for this week, Vish Products released the new aluminum H10 axles. So just like the plastic housings, these are the H10 aluminum versions of those housings that go under the H10 optic. You'll find them in both black anodized and clear anodized. First batch sold out pretty quickly. There was as much stock as possible for that first run, but yeah, the demand was high, so they did sell out fast, but they're in regular production, so just keep watching the site and you'll see those continue to go up. I'll put links to them in the description below, as well as links to all of today's stories, even though this is a non-traditional episode. Next, RP Racing Kart Z conversion. This little thing caught my eye. It's a mini Z conversion, a 3D printed chassis, little driver figure, the little scale engine, the whole thing is just a 3D printed conversion for standard on-road mini Zs. And I thought these things looked super cool. I love a weird RC. Matt has a show called Weird RC. I feel like he should dive on to one of these. Now, I'm only finding this as it was covered on a number of sites as far as like news type sites. I think I saw it on Mod and Competition X, as well as either Red RC or Big Squid, one of those two. But the only place I can find it linked as far as like where they're covering it is from a Facebook page. And it's not even like a regular business page, it's just a person's page. So if I can find out more information on where you can buy or download this or whatever the situation is going to be, I'll follow that up. But at this time, I couldn't find an easy answer for that. So either way, I think it's pretty cool. And if maybe you are super interested, you could do some hunting. Next, those of you who've been into the Nitro RC world may know of Force models. They make engines, specifically Nitro engines. And they announced that they are closing at the end of the year. Now, they were a large producer of Nitro engines. People who are in that world likely know the name. They've been, selling and making engines for decades. But another interesting part of that is that they were the engine supplier for HPI as far as all of their Nitro models. Now, HPI made an official statement on their Facebook page saying that they were doing all they could to buy as many replacement parts as possible for their vehicles from Force before they closed down, to try and extend their ability to support those vehicles for as long as possible. Now, obviously, HPI has already been fighting that battle. This is not a good, not a good thing for their customer base, who's maybe excited to see things pick up as far as that side of things goes. Will that be the end of HPI's Nitro line of vehicles entirely, or will they switch to one of the other companies like SH or Dynamite, I think is Horizon's brand now. I'm not sure if they OEM for anybody or who the actual producer of that is for Dynamite, but yeah, hard to say what we're going to see as far as any Nitro stuff goes from HPI, as well as I don't know 100% of what other manufacturers are using Force for their OEM, but if you're a Nitro fan, that's a bad sign. Let's see. Next, Buggy Designs released the FalconX, the desert truck body that they were showing for both the Mojave and the UDR. They look great. They're very, scale accurate to desert trucks. So what you would expect from Buggy Designs. Nothing short of what you would come to expect from what they would release. Looks great. Two separate, obviously, SKUs, one for a Mojave, one for a UDR. So if you have one or the other, follow that, link appropriately, buy the right one. Don't just buy the first one that you see. Next, ROCHOBBY's 1/7 Ridge Racer U4 Desert Buggy RS. A long name. So a 1/7 scale. Now, in typical FMS / ROCHOBBY style, they didn't exactly branch out and do a new style. They kind of use the one that has been copied the most as of lately, and that is the fun haver style that we've seen raced by Jason Shearer and Lauren Healy and Vaughn Gittin Jr. They all are racing a Bronco style U4 buggy, and that's what this is. So independent front suspension, solid axle rear. Now it does appear to be mainly new as far as that goes. It does have an interior. It comes with a 150 amp brushless system. It's it's got double shocks up front. One's a coilover set. One is just a kind of looks like a bypass, and it doesn't have the bypass tubes. It's just its own damper. So, but giving you that multi-shock look. Their website's a little, it shows 145 millimeter wheels, which I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean tires on that side, but that's a close to 6-inch tall tire, a little under 6, 5.75, probably in that range somewhere there. But an interesting vehicle. The rear axle doesn't look overly scale. It kind of looks like the style of like a Mad Force had with the tubes that bolt onto the side. So that's kind of a bummer as far as how that looks. But the overall look of the vehicle doesn't look bad. It looks like, some pretty interesting as far as that goes. Again, it would have been cool to see at least something a little bit different. We've seen this style and this scale. I think the Laser Nut was the one that was also done in this scale by FS Racing or one of the other overseas. But 549 is not bad for a 1/7 scale brushless rock racer. See how it actually stacks up once people get it in their hands. Somewhat interesting, at least, though. Next, thanks to all the channel members for supporting the channel a little bit extra. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you want to see the benefits of channel membership, there's a link in the description below. You get some extra videos, you get to see videos early, and again, it just helps support the channel a little bit more. I appreciate it a bunch. There's also After News Delight, which is an extension of this show, which we just kind of go back over everything, talk a little bit more, it's a little bit more candid, kind of fun in that way. But if you're interested in that, again, link below. If you work for an RC company and you'd like to see any of your products on the Scale News, you can email me at news@harleydesigns.com, and I'll make sure to include a photo, a description, and a link to the product on your website, and I'll try and get it in the Scale News. Next, Proline released they're calling these Class 0 Mickey Thompson Baja MT. 155 is the wheel size. Now, this is basically the tire from the UTB18 Capra, the mini Capra, specifically the new 4-wheel steer version that we just saw. It came with these tires on it. These are coming in a G8. Now, what I don't know is the mini Capra was made overseas, and that's therefore, the tires were made overseas as well. It'll be interesting to see if these Proline tires have the Made in USA stamp on the side of the new tire, because most Proline tires are made here in the US. And while that may not matter to you 100%, these are labeled as a G8 compound, and you can't necessarily just get the same compounds everywhere. So while they're calling this G8, if it's made overseas, it's likely a different G8 compound than what they're using over here. While it may seem easy to just get the same things in different places or ship it, that it's just not the way things work. So it'll be that's a little detail on it that kind of be interesting to see exactly what the details of that are once we actually get them. You might be able to zoom in real close on the images that they have and see if you can see the Made in USA, because Proline's real good about putting that in real fine print on each of the tires that they make there in Banning, California. So also from Proline, 1/16 Mirage trophy truck pre-mounted tires for the Mojave Grom, the little Grom, which is super fun. It's an absolute blast. They came out with the brushless one as well. I'm sure that that's even more fun, but just some different styled tires for it. These look kind of like the short course style ones, the full size short course style tires. So it's kind of a cool one. Next, Cross RC is teasing the AC8. Now, this is an 8x8 from them, military style. It's the this one is solid axle, not fully independent, but steering, front 2 steering axles, cab forward, big flatbed across the back. They're always just kind of cool. 8x8s are always somewhat cool. Cross does these style vehicles pretty well. So this is a 1/12 scale kit too. So not 1/10 scale, so not super huge, but still bigger than like 1/14. And I could label more numbers that would make it smaller too, if you'd like, but either way, this thing looks pretty decent on that front. Not fully released yet, not on the Cross US website, at least at this point. I've only seen a video on the main overseas Cross RC CN, the China Facebook page. So then Tamiya's got a number of new releases coming. One of them is the Honda City Turbo. If you've ever seen the real Honda City Turbos, they're kind of cool. Just cute little thing. This is a new Tamiya that I'm like, I will want this. I have no need for it. It's gonna be, I need this thing. This thing looks cool. So the rest of the stuff, pretty standard, nothing wildly outside the box for what you would expect for Tamiya, but that one was definitely the standout of the upcoming 2025 releases. This Wednesday still, even though it will be Christmas, we'll still be doing live stream takeover. Matt and I, we bought some stuff that you will have seen on Instagram ads in the past, and we both decided to try and build the same thing at the same time, even as ridiculous as this project will be. So we'll see how that goes. Next, on the list of weird things, the Team Associated, way back, before Element existed, released a solid axle scale truck called the CR12 under the Team Associated name. That was the Ford truck, which was just basically a rebranded version of the Thunder Tiger vehicle that had been available previously. Thunder Tiger is the overseas owner of Team Associated and Element and all that. They're a Taiwanese company, and that's who basically makes most of the decisions. But I noticed that truck has been gone for a long time, except it just popped back up on Tower Hobbies as a pre-order coming soon in February. Super weird. No mention of it on any of the other sites or anything like that. No official posts that I've seen, unless I'm missing it on Team Associated or anything like that. Just all of a sudden so not sure what's going on. You never know what Thunder Tiger's doing. They, so I guess they're gonna make these again, or they found some and they're gonna ship them to Tower Hobbies. I don't know. Very weird, but no shock to be weird with Team Associated these days. Then another super weird RC. This one from Kingkong. Kingkong made the like that Russian super, I can't remember what those things are called, but the huge tires super close together, like the Russian amphibious vehicles. Anyway, they made this new 1/10 scale 2-wheel drive T16 self-propelled chassis or tractor, 2-wheel drive tractor. I don't know. It's just kind of it's a 1/10 scale tractor. So normally the tractors we see, other than the one that Cross is supposed to be coming out with, are usually like 1/14 scale, usually smaller stuff. You don't see a lot of 1/10 scale. This thing's kind of wild looking with the bed in the front. I'm sure that is an actual thing. There's a version of every tractor. I'm not familiar with this one, but I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm sure it's scaled exactly off something that exists. It's got a really weird steering setup though. The steering servo is back towards the rear of the vehicle, and then a rod runs all the way to the front, and it's got a pitman arm that comes out. It's very subtle to accomplish the steering on this thing, which is kind of cool. I like the little differences of things like that. So this is available on eBay currently, which is where King Kong sells most of their stuff, it seems like. Super high shipping is the biggest thing. Prices sometimes aren't that bad, but shipping is where they get you. So anyway, that's all the stories for this week. More stories than I would have thought for the week of Christmas. It's typically just not a crazy week, but lucky enough for me, I had enough to make an episode about. So, no question for this week. Just want to thank everybody for a great year. I'll still have one more episode of the Scale News Update, but I'll be catching me towards the end of my KC trip here. So we'll be back for our regularly scheduled programming here before too long. But again, just that time of year. Thanks to everybody for everything. It's been a great year, strong year. Looking forward to next year. You know, more stuff, more growth, I hope, more, you know, changes and things like that, I'm sure. And hopefully we continue on with everything, you know, even the Scale News. But we'll see how it goes. So thanks to a great 2024, almost said 2023, to a great 2024. If you enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe, notifications, channel membership, the whole thing. Anyway, but that's going to do it for this episode of Scale News Update. As always, thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.